and welcome to Diaspora Network, the program where we celebrate Nigerians making remarkable strides around the world. I'm Teniola Oyetayo. On today's program is the founder of Challenge AIDS and Malaria in Africa, a humanitarian organization that has worked across several African countries for more than 20 years. Motivated by the loss of his 16-month-old daughter, Goodness, to malaria, he has turned his personal grief into a mission to save lives. Born into a modest family, Dr. Olugu Ukpai's early life was shaped by hardship, resilience, and the determination of a mother who refused to give up.
Where my mother was a food hawker, my mother was cooking rice and corn pudding. My own dad was a hunter and a sand scooper. Those who scoop use a shovel to scoop sand and fill up the tipper. It's what my parents were doing. And after their marriage, at the early conception of life, a terrible tragedy happened. My father went to jail. He was sent to jail for fighting a man who tried to take his land, which he inherited from his father. Then that left my mother alone. My mother nursed the pregnancy by herself. Surviving in a country where there is no social assistance for single parents was a challenge that my mother faced. Many people advised her to go back to her parents, but my mother said, no, I promised for better or for worse. So my mother had to prove industrious and resilient. A young woman who was barely under 20, had to go and learn how to make corn pudding. That was what she used to survive herself and took care of the pregnancy. As you can see, my struggle in life and resilience started in my mother's womb.
In 2005, while in Canada on a Commonwealth scholarship, Dr. Ukpai was separated from his family after repeated visa denials. Then came the news that changed his life. His 16-month-old daughter, Goodness, had died of malaria. Out of that grief came a mission. Every year, he returns to Nigeria and other African countries on medical missions, working to prevent other children from dying from a disease that can be treated and prevented.
One day, I got a phone call from my wife, Esther, that we've lost one of our twin daughters to malaria because of this separation. My daughter, Goodness, waited until she could not wait any longer. They were twin girls, and we named them Goodness and Mercy. I saw them last when they were just 3 months. Then I left for Canada. I never saw her again until she passed. When Esther called me that she has died, I was broken. I was devastated. I began to blame myself. I began to be hard on myself. I began to question why I ever came to Canada, because I came to Canada for a greener pasture for them. Now I am here and then I'm losing these children. So why am I here? Just like if I have the power to give life or take life. After some times, I decided to pick up my pieces and transform my tragedies into doing something positive. I use up my credit card here as a student. and bought malaria medications. And then I declared a war against malaria. I returned home to Nigeria and had 15 medical doctors. And we treated over 500 children of malaria and dewormed them and carried out so many surgeries. CHAMA was inspired by our grief. CHAMA was inspired by our loss. CHAMA was inspired by our pain. We said, no, no child, no goodness should be left to die of malaria again. Because every 35 seconds, a child under 5 dies of malaria unnecessarily. We have carried out over 1,500 surgeries. They're all on YouTube. Saving estimated over 10,000 people across 12 African countries. The objectives of CHAMA were modeled according to my tragedies. For instance, I lost my father when I was 16 and my mother when I was 14. So I became an orphan at the age of 16. My parents died of poverty diseases. My mother died of hemorrhage after childbirth. But it took long, like a couple of months. There was no one to help her. From our home, 5 poles away from our home was a hospital. But no one took my mother to hospital. And she died of poverty disease. My own father died of cholera, a waterborne disease. So not only carrying out the surgery that we have done, we've drilled wells in Nigeria, in Uganda, and across Africa. Because cholera is a waterborne disease. Malaria, to some extent, is also waterborne disease because female mosquito lay eggs in stagnant waters, and some people drink it. That gave them the sickness. So we provide clean drinking water. Not only that, malaria is a poverty disease. If we must sustainably challenge the scourge of malaria, we must first tackle the root cause of the disease, which is poverty. We have trained over 100 single parents, single mothers, in sewing and equip them with brand new sewing machine each so that they can be able to make money, take care of themselves and their family, and also take care of their children when they are sick. That's how we are trying to make our efforts sustainable. Not only that, according to Bill Gates, if we must sustainably challenge the scourge of malaria, education is the foundation. And he said, let's give them a better education and they'll take care of the rest. We'll build a 6-classroom block for a community in Abia State, Ndaku, in Ohafia local government, that had existed for over 100 years without a school. Not only that, we have taken special interest in maternal health. Those who killed my mother. We make sure that women have safe delivery in various countries of operation. And we have also given attention to myomectomy surgery during our medical missions, fibroid, which is a very big challenge to women, especially in Africa. It's not enough. We have also started agricultural farms in rural villages where we continue to produce food. Because malaria is a nutritional problem. It's a nutritional disease. If children are malnourished, they are susceptible to malaria attack. But with strong immune system, with balanced diet, with good nutrition, the immune system will be able to resist and fight the disease before it takes them down. That's not enough. In Uganda, in eastern Uganda, in Namamera village, where we have 2.5 million children in Uganda that have been orphaned by AIDS and malaria, we build a big 9-room orphanage for them. As of today, we have over 150 children orphaned in the orphanage that we are taking care of. In northern Uganda, in Omai village, where gorilla has destroyed everything in the community, we build a school for a community where children walk 7 hours to school and 7 hours back. These are quite some of the projects that CHAMA has continued to do. In August last year, 2025, we carried out 57 surgeries in 1 week in Aba at New Era Hospital. Everybody, wherever you are, just come, because what is killing people now, especially in Nigeria, is not the disease, but poverty and neglect. You know, I've been very strong in advocacy when it comes to malaria, and malaria is not a strong Canadian disease. Rather, it is it's only Canadian tourists that contract malaria. And in my research, annually, about 500 Canadians contract malaria. And why the healthcare system here is well developed, you know, more than what we have back there in Africa, but out of personal experience and the experiences of friends, Canada still struggle with managing malaria because they don't have a lot of specialists in tropical medicine. And so when you have malaria, it takes time to get a specialist that will treat you, that will manage you. It is a country where a highly professionalized country in healthcare, that anything that is not your area, you don't venture into it. You don't touch it. Let me share a personal experience. I traveled to Africa sometime for medical mission. And when I came back, I was supposed to have a meeting with my friend Nelson Rhino. And I told him, Nelson, I'm sorry, I've been sick with malaria, but I can still have the meeting. He said, Olugu, no, 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 no. Let's cancel it. I don't want to get malaria, so they don't give me malaria. You can see the level of ignorance. Like, it's not only in Africa that ignorance is a menace to managing malaria, but also here in Canada. Another example was a friend of mine, Ngozi from Nigeria, may her soul rest in peace. She traveled home and came back and had malaria, and she was misdiagnosed as having Ebola, and she was quarantined. She shared with me before she died, but that was not what killed her. But she suffered. Like the medication, everything that was given to her was not what was wrong, until she had to order malaria medication from home, and they brought it to her. She took it and she was okay. So one of my roles as a member of the health board is bringing what you call cultural humility. Cultural humility is one, asking questions. Number two, it is learning from we, like people from the tropics who understand what malaria is, who has experienced what malaria is. It's all about learning from us, taking time to educate Canadians what malaria is, how it affects people, and how we think we can tackle malaria, while the doctors are doing what they're supposed to do. When you go to hospital, the doctor should be able to ask you if you had malaria before, what is your experience in having malaria? What medication do you normally take? What are the side effects of those medications that have been taken, rather than just giving you prescription for you to take. That's cultural humility. So first of all, I'm bringing education, diversity in the board. Number two, I'm also, because I come from a background where poverty plagued me and my parents, I am bringing an intersectionality approach to healthcare. Now, it's no longer about malaria as a single disease, but healthcare in general, because diseases has no boundary. Disease doesn't know black, it doesn't know white, it doesn't know green, and it doesn't know yellow. It's all about healthcare reform. It's all about advocating for healthcare reform so that healthcare will be accessible.
And that brings us to the end of this week's edition of Diaspora Network.
Ona